How's it going, guys? This is Legendary Nats, and let's go ahead and continue on with our playthrough. So let's kind of have like a little recap of what we did. Basically, we went through some of Blighttown, mainly because my recording device did not record. Mostly me not pressing the share button on my PS4 controller twice. And we went through there to do a little bit of farming and got some green titanite shards. We found out that our Firelink Shrine Firekeeper is dead. And so now... Oh, and we also had some very bad luck on trying to make it back to the depths. It was a lot of fun. Get a drink of water. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and continue on with our little playthrough. Now, right now, I'm actually using a +6 longsword. Just because I wanted something a little bit different and something a little bit faster. I'm actually trying to keep from using the Balder Swag Sword. Though I spent a lot of time, and I have it actually at +5. And you know, before I forget, let's go ahead and attune one of our new spells, because we actually now have... Oh, I need to actually have a slot. So we're going to actually use one of our soul items that we got right here. We're going to use this 2 of these just to go ahead and take care of it and see if that gives me enough. I don't think that is enough. I think I need about 7,000. Yeah. So it looks like we're not going to be putting on any spells for now. And we're going to continue going through this area and not getting absolutely wrecked. But I do need to actually go ahead and reverse my hollowing so that I have what I need. Oh, and I didn't mean to tell you, right now you see that my humanity is now at 0. I died on my way back, trying to make it back to my souls. I fell off an edge and to my death. So because of that, well, the rest is history. But let's go ahead and continue on going through this area, since, you know, might as well. Look at these little bastards. See, these things are so annoying because they cause poison. But thankfully, I do have some purple moss, and I forgot I have it on my thing, so that will be helpful to have. Let's go ahead and roll through the poo. Might as well. And I forgot all about this one. Gotta love it when you forget. And continue on. And I do apologize, I do have my phone actually on at this moment. I normally don't, but I ended up missing calls from my mom, and she got frustrated with me, so I had to make sure I have them on so that I can actually hear her, just in case if she texts me or calls me. This is not the way that we're supposed to go. I actually ran through here in such a panic when I was trying to make it back to the bonfire. I ended up dying, like getting very close to death, and I was so freaking mad. And I didn't fall through that hole, I believe. No, that one's the one that killed you. I fell in through the other hole on the other side, and when I fell in, I was like, oh crap, I shouldn't have fallen in that. And then I started really freaking out because I remembered that the hole that I fell in is one of the new enemies in this area, which is a basilisk. Has big old oogly eyes. And when I did that, I was like, oh crap. And they had the potential to actually do a thing called curse, which we have talked about cursing, what curses do in this game. And that was very odd how I did that. And whenever that happened, I started really freaking out. You know, I actually think I will go back to my claymore, just because it just does more damage. Okay, I still have my fast roll. I don't want to be a fat man. And these things that we're gonna see, you guys will see it here in a few minutes. But these things are so freaky looking. But they're actually, in a weird way, I really like their design. It's a very interesting take on what a basilisk looks like compared to like how most games look like. Oh my gosh, doors. Those little bastards can hit you so quickly. And it is quite interesting to see what they can do. And you know, I really wish I had fire resin or charcoal resin, as it is called. But they have such a unique design, in my opinion, because they look like little geckos with big oogly eyes. They're actually somewhat cute. Some people may agree, some people won't. That is the waterfall where the big rat was at. You can actually come straight here to this point where I'm at right here by sliding on the left side. If you're up there facing down, it'll be the left side for you. You can slide right on down. It's actually very quick because straight ahead is actually where the boss room is at. But we're not going to go in there just yet. We're going to continue to explore and find more rats. More rats galore. Gotta love rats. You see how far he flung? It's crazy, man. It really is. That looks really weird with how that rat is just kind of like trying to run away. But it's like all kinds of weird. Now we should be coming across a invader here soon. An offline invader, if I remember correctly. Should be coming right over here. There it is. Where's he at? There he is. Now this is Kirk. You actually... Oh, that was funny. He was actually bouncing off. Kirk is actually not a very hard invader to go up against. He'll invade you in a couple of different areas. And it is his whole goal to invade. And his armor, if we're lucky, do we get a piece? Do we get a piece? Pick up item. Oh, we got a shield. And we can learn a little bit about him real quick. So why don't we go ahead and look at his shield. He's got a really cool looking armor set. It's actually one of my more favorite ones. It's a 90% physical shield. Shield of the infamous Dark Wraith Kirk. Knight of Thorns covered with spikes. And that's really all that it mentions. His armor, if you notice whenever I was kind of next to him, he kind of did this thing where whenever he rolled, and of course he was doing a fat roll, but anytime he would roll and he actually nicked me, he was actually causing bleeding and was somewhat hurting me. And that's because his armor has spikes all on it, and will cause a little bit of damage. So it actually is a fun challenge that a lot of people actually do. They'll actually wear the armor and take on bosses with the armor, or they'll do PvP with just doing dodge rolls into people. And it does actually a little bit of stun damage, so it'll knock you back a little bit. And this is a basilisk. And he shoots out this powder. And if you go in it, it'll actually build up a small curse meter. And when you're actually human, you have a little bit more resistance to curses. But look at those big old eyes, man. That thing is just freaky looking, isn't it? And if you look, and I don't think we'll actually be able to see it. Let's see if I can kind of roll them a little bit. It's kind of hard to see. But these guys actually have, and you kind of see it right there. That little yellow dot right underneath the crosshair. That's its actual eyes. Not these. These are actually just big oogling eyes just to be there. his real eyes are those tiny little eyes, and I think they do that to kind of confuse their prey or their enemies whenever they're trying to protect themselves. But there's actually quite a few of them, and if you are not careful, you will get cursed. And I had mentioned that if you get cursed in this game, it cuts your life bar in half. So you have to be very careful to not get cursed. They are a pain to fight. Thankfully, though, there are ways to kind of combat it. The main thing that they do, they like to just... see if I can... There we go. I got them through the bars. But the main thing that you can do is just kind of run past them. A lot of times they don't have the ability to full-blown get you caught in there unless they're like stunning you at the same time. Then you kind of need to be careful. But they're really not hard enemies to take on. They're actually quite easy to take on. But they have that little cute factor due to the fact that they have big old oogly eyes, man. I love those eyes. And you see that he jumps up in the air and tries to shoot that stuff at you. And he's gonna come around. He's gonna come right around. Now, dodge, dodge, dodge. I'm trying to make sure I'm not caught into that stuff, because they'll try to spread that powder everywhere, and if you get caught in it, like it's trying to build up on me right there, that little skull and crossbones, that means that if it would have filled up, I would have turned into a stone. And if we're online, you could actually see the stones of people who were turned and see what's happened to them. So it's pretty crazy. But you really don't want to get cursed as much as you try. Like, you really, really don't want to get cursed. If you get cursed, you're going to have a bad time. It's like if you pizza when you French fry. You're going to have a bad time. So we're going to just continue looking around. Ring of the Evil Eye. This is a pretty cool little weapon, or a little ring. I don't use it that much. I don't find it that useful for me, per se, but it may be useful. According to legend, this ring contains the spirit of the Evil Eye, a dark beast which assaulted Astora. The strength of the Evil Eye does not waver, and HP is absorbed from fallen enemies. So every time you actually kill an enemy, you'll gain back a little bit of HP. So there are ways that you can make this really, really good for your build. But it's not going to do me too much good right now. So there's that. And I think that's really all there is that I can really find in here. I think I've done everything so far other than take on the boss. So we can actually go take on the boss. And what we're going to do, we're going to actually go sit at the bonfire. So I'm going to have my full Estus flasks. And then go after... Is there anything down here? I think I've got everything down here. Pretty soon. Yeah, I've got everything down here. Yeah, because this is where Kirk invaded us. But, we're going to actually go heal real quick. We're going to go sit down at the bonfire, and then we're going to go on to go take on the boss. So... let's go do that real quick, and while we're in the middle of trying to go run and do that, let's go ahead and talk about the depths. So, the depths, as we have seen, tend to be the place where unwanted things or people tend to go. And the boss is actually a very good reason behind that. It is actually very interesting. We're going to see when we go up against the boss, and we're going to go ahead and level up too. You're going to see when we actually go up against the boss. Let's see if I can... Oh, I can. We're going to put... Can't use any of those, but these, thankfully, this is the cool thing about pyromancy, is that it doesn't actually require anything other than just having a slot and having a pyromancy flame, in which we have a pyromancy flame. So why don't we go ahead and use... Bam! Dead Z's. deadzers. But if you can kind of see that this place is a place where it has a bunch of things that are just not wanted. Things that people don't want. It's basically like the gutter. It's a gutter to them. It's a sewage packed place that no one wants the things that are here. So, oh, and also, these things are extremely weak to fire. So, you see that? Does ridiculous amounts of damage, kills them with one shot. That's another good reason. If you are wanting to have something that can help you out in this area with these things, that is something to have. Just throwing that out there, bros. But as we see that things are just, things are gross. The rats are actually grosser here. A lot more gross looking than they are up top. They have no pupils in their eyes. Their bodies seem to be a lot more rotten. And actually, no, this is not where the boss is at. This is actually where we need to go into Blighttown. But we have an NPC. So why don't we go ahead and talk to our buddy with the horned mask.
Aye, Shemai, and good day to you. I'm Donald of Xena. I'm just a peddler of sorts. I adore trinkets and oddities, so I trade for them.
Dunhall is a merchant with some very flashy looking armor, especially that headdress is crazy looking. But we can actually go in here and buy gold pine resin, which is something that we're gonna buy because we need it, and I wish I had more souls. But he also has a bottomless box, which we'll need to buy that sooner or later. But he also has crystal weapons. Now, crystal weapons are weapons that are very interesting. If you can see, they have very low durability, and they cannot be upgraded. So you can't upgrade these weapons at all. But they hit very hard. Very, very hard. The reason being is that if you feel that you are under-leveled in this area, if you come to Dunhall, he actually has these weapons to kind of help you out in the area. So he gives you some really strong weapons to actually be able to use so that you have the ability to, handle yourself. Then he sells his arrows, and then he sells a set. And I really like a set, though it's extremely expensive to try and get a set. So, but let's go ahead and buy the gold pine resin. It's going to be very necessary.
That was I have this funny feeling we'll meet again soon. We'll make another fine trade, of course.
I have a feeling we'll meet again soon, my friend. I do too. And then let's go ahead and use these soul items. The whole reason why I use them now is so that I can have the souls necessary to buy what I need. And the reason why I need it now is because it is very necessary for me to have it against this boss fight. The boss fight that we're about to go up against is really weak to lightning. And I wish I had the ability to use lightning spear, but I can't. So...
I adore trinkets and oddities, so I trade for them.
So let's go ahead and purchase 2 more gold pine resin. And
thank you.
That's all we're going to do for now with him. And we're going to go take on the boss. First, I'm going to put in my slot, and I'm going to get rid of that since I don't need that anymore. I'm going to put my green moss, or my green stuff, and then the pine resin. And we're going to go ahead and start heading towards the boss now. And another reason why I wanted to be human at this point is because there is actually a summon that we can bring over here, and I plan on bringing him in. Though it is a hard summon to keep him alive, I will admit he is very hard to keep alive in this area. Okay, that's just the rats. I knew we killed the Chandler 2 episodes ago, but I just wanted to make sure. I think there is not an item. JK, got you, bros. No, he is very hard to keep alive, and oh, this is where we get a crossbow, a free crossbow, so we don't have to buy it. But he is very hard to keep alive. But it's our boy Solaire. So let's go ahead and bring our boy, our bro, Our sun bro. And let's try to stay alive. Like I've said, anytime you do summons, they end up making the boss's health much higher. And that is not any different with this particular boss. So I'll keep quiet. Yep. This is called the Gaping Dragon. Now this will probably be everyone's first real challenge in the game. I know I said that about Capra, but this really stems true for him. He's a very strong boss, and he does a lot of damage, as you just saw. Now, what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and cut off his tail, like I just did, right there, because you get a weapon. And there is an achievement if you do. And then he's going to do his little trampling. Now, I may not be able to keep him alive. What are you about to do? Oh, swing your tail. Though Solaire does pretty okay damage, he's dead. Dang it. I was really hoping to keep him alive, but... oh. Be careful with this stuff. His vomit, that vomit will eat away at your durability. It won't hurt you, but it will eat away at your durability on your armor and weapons. Slam your head down. Slam your gaping self down, bro. Like that. He's actually not a real hard boss, especially if you've got this lightning element on your weapon. But the thing that he does, and thankfully he hasn't done it too much. Oh gosh. He's about to do it now. Bat attack can do a lot of damage. I can't believe I missed that. So, what's he doing? Okay, he's just resting. This will kill him. But, I was hoping to be able to kill him before he killed Solaire, but there's just nothing I can do to try and keep him alive. Solaire just gets absolutely trashed by him, unfortunately. Some boss fights he can do pretty well against, but not him. So let's go ahead and get this, which is just basically the starting armor set that we got in the beginning of the game. But that's the Gaping Dragon. Interestingly enough, and let's see if we can actually read off of that Blighttown key. Key to Blighttown from the depths of the undead berg, swallowed by the Gaping Dragon. As its name suggests, Blighttown is a place of great pestilence. Even the polluted inhabitants of the depths are aware of its dangers and built this mighty door to keep in hopes that they could remain safely separated. So where we're about to go is a very dangerous place, and you've already seen Blighttown because I went into the back way. And it just kind of shows to you that even the people who are in this area consider going into Blighttown as a dangerous place. And I am all kinds of confused where I'm going. So that means that we have to be very careful, especially the way that we're about to go. The way that we're about to go is a very painful place to go. Not even gonna lie. It's not a fun place to go. I really don't like it. The beginning part of this area just really sucks. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go rest at the bonfire. We're gonna level up, and then we're gonna start our way back into Blight Town from this other direction. The direction that just sucks. Not even gonna lie. So, oh, what the junk was that? Oh, the rat. Oh, you prick. If you get hit enough while you're on a ladder, they'll actually, you will actually fall. So, be mindful of that when you're going up a ladder. But we actually did pretty short work of the Gaping Dragon. Now, the Gaping Dragon, if you're wondering what that monstrosity is, it basically is this. It was a dragon that could not cure its hunger. It was a glutton. And it would just constantly eat and eat and eat and eat until finally it became so deformed. Because that dragon is actually an undead as well. You'll actually find out that the undead curse affects not just the people who are, or just regular people, but it affects everyone. It even affects dragons, it even affects people, it affects rats, it affects everything. So this curse is a real curse, and the Gaping Dragon could not stop eating, and so it ended up getting pushed and trapped here in the depths because its hunger was just insatiable. It could not stop eating. So that is the reason why it was here and why it's really a dangerous foe. Because from our knowledge, all the dragons are dead. But obviously not, because this particular dragon is still alive. So why would this dragon be alive compared to other dragons? And it was because it was locked up. Because it just would not stop eating. It was a true glutton. And that's why its body completely split the way it did. Oh. Burn. And we're also going to look at the weapon that we got, because we did get a new weapon by cutting off the tail. Most time, if you cut the tail off of a dragon, or most bosses that can have their tail cut off, there's reasons like the gargoyle tail. This axe is one of the rare dragon weapons. It's formed by the tail of the Gaping Dragon, a deformed descendant of the everlasting dragons. The axe is imbued with a mystical power to be released when held with both hands. What that does is actually, when you hold it with both hands, you'll basically kind of like do a area of effect attack, and it's a really good weapon, but it's way too heavy for me to be able to wield. So that's the reason why I'm not wielding it. And I don't really like dragon weapons all that much. I mean, that's why I'm not using the... Oh, humanity. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm not using the Drake Sword, because I'm not a big fan of it. Now, there is another dragon weapon that is a very good weapon. That is... You could consider it like the big boy version of the... Let me go ahead and get this so I can go ahead and have that. It is basically the big boy's version of the, oh, he only had 3 of those, so I'm glad that I got them when I did. But it is the big boy version of the weapon, or of the Drake Sword. I know I've repeated myself, I'm sorry. I tend to lose my mind sometimes, and I lose track of thought. But it does a really cool attack. Similar to what the Drake Sword does. It does a big shockwave attack, kind of like the Tensaiga or Tetsaiga from Inuyasha or something along those lines. It's really cool looking.
That was a fine trade.
Oh.
I have this funny feeling we'll meet again soon. We'll make another fine trade, of course.
Let's actually talk to him real quick. See if he has any tidbits to tell us.
I'm afraid I don't see anything here. I'm afraid I don't see anything
I
here.
guess not.
Well,
So we're going to go ahead and leave it there.
No, come back again. Not every trade was meant to be.
Alright, so let's go ahead and go on through into Blight Town. I really hate going this route. I like going the other route because I don't have to do all this. But it is important that we do it. There's a lot of really good items that we can get. And can get pretty strong because of the enemies that are in this area. And we're gonna come across Big Fatty himself. I'm gonna go ahead and do this so I can kind of fall right past them. Now he is parryable if you hit the parry and not, you know, do what I did. And then he likes to do that. That was a partial parry, so do your parry. Come on. Gonna heal one more time. So he is parryable. He can be backstabbed. I'm trying to not be such a noob. And there he is. Oh, he's still alive. These guys are a little bit more thick than I thought. He's a thick boy, boys. And let's see what he drops for us. Crap. Literal crap. Those guys are actually very dangerous whenever it comes to spots like this. I really suggest that if you do take them on, draw them one at a time until you can start doing some major damage. Because these guys do... Oh yeah, you can't block that one or parry that one. So... Go ahead and backstab him, make sure the other boy ain't coming. Stab him right in the butt. Alright, go ahead and grab that dung pie. There's another enemy over there. That's why I'm trying to lead him over here, because those other enemies are a little bit faster. And I really don't want to call them over. Dang it. And see, he can actually track you really easily. And I was hoping that he wouldn't do that. And you see over there at the right, one of the enemies have been alerted to me. Now he can follow that attack up. But thankfully he didn't. So, get some more poo. So now we're gonna go on and I'm gonna try and make it to the next bonfire. Oh gosh. Now these guys hit really hard and there's a lot of them. And this one has freaking ridiculous range because he has that spear and it will kind of throw you off. But these guys are very deformed, as you can see. There's just something really wrong. Oh, I forgot to mention, in this area, I did actually mention earlier that there is an enemy over here in this area that has the ability to toxic you, which is a very potent version of poison, and it does really bad things to you, especially if you get hit with that toxic. You can't... Oh, be careful when he did that little stance. If he hits you with that stance and he does his attack, it will really mess you up, because I think he'll actually do like a grab attack and get a hold of you, and when he gets a hold of you, he will just absolutely wreck you. I know I'm playing this safe, but I also have no more healing items other than humanity, and I don't really... You see that? I'm gonna have to use humanity. I'm gonna have to use humanity so I can heal. Hopefully nothing pops up on me. Thankfully I have a few of them, so... So, let's go ahead and try to draw this other one over here. These guys actually have really good hearing, and I don't know if it's because it's kind of like if it's nighttime kind of thing, you know, sonar. See, I wanted to kill him. He is probably the most dangerous thing in this place right now, and I really just wanted to get rid of him. Because if I didn't, then he would end up just toxicking me if I wasn't careful. What the heck? Okay, so he dropped from up there. Okay, that kind of threw me off. You see how big this place is? This place is huge, man. Blighttown is a very interesting place. It has some good qualities and it has a lot of bad qualities. It's one of those places that there's a lot of really strong enemies. Okay, what are you doing, pal? So, it's gonna come up here. There we go. So they can't handle the two-hand attack. Nope, didn't want to do that. Nope, want to pick up the item. There are a lot of items in this area. That's another reason why I want to make sure that I cover every basis here. I think that is a trap right there. If you were to drop on it, I think you would die. I could be wrong. But guys, this is where we're going to actually leave it off right here. I don't have as much time. I've already kind of gone over. So this is where I'm going to leave it off. And we'll continue going through Blighttown in the upper part until we can make it into a bonfire. So guys, I'll see you next time. Cheers.